Probably wondering how I came to be here. Well, it's a bit of a story, but I suppose you want to hear. You see, Jasmine, whom I was infatuated with, and she with me, wanted to know if the two of us were really meant to be. She thought the idea fun for us to visit a fortune teller. I myself did not, but her charms made me an agreeable fellow. We entered the dark, dank tent. It was filled with a moist, musty scent. In the middle was a round wooden table, an hourglass, tarot cards, and a granny by the name of Mabel. We sat down, put the cash down. Mabel frowned and turned the hourglass round. The skin on the back of her hand looked leathery in texture, covered with mottled brown flecks forming a permanent fixture. With great effort, Mabel parted her lips. These appeared frail. Then raising her hand and pointing with a thick brown nail, she said, "Jasmine and I had until the sand completed its advance." Then she touched me on the head, putting me in a deep, deep trance. She told Jasmine to turn over the tarot cards of fate, knowing that each card would affect what happened to me in my dream-like state. I myself was mindful that I had been transported to a different plane. I was aware I was in my own mind, but I was worried all the same. An eighth of sand had drained from the hourglass measuring tool. Jasmine turned over the first card, revealing a picture of the Fool. This represented the new beginning that lay before me within my own mind, for I was heading into the unknown, like a person suddenly blind. I found myself, in early evening light, standing on a cliff. In front of me hovered an elevator, also known as a lift. The doors opened, and out jumped a panicky slim character, mumbling, "I am insanity." He then proceeded to spit profanity at me to test my verbal agility. Knowing I had an aura of invincibility, I sucked in the negativity, processed it mentally, then transformed it purposefully into a joke. Little did I know this was to provoke a further reaction from a section of mind lacking traction in the realms of reality. The sand in the hourglass continued to run, creating its own tune. Jasmine turned over the second card, revealing a picture of the moon. Mabel informed Jasmine this represented giving into the shadow-like self, and therefore did not bode well for me and my subconscious health. Not happy with the actions of profanity, Insanity decided to up the game by calling forth his agent, Shame. Now Shame is a tricky one. He fears the sun, so he creeps through the shadows like a man on the run, from dusk till dawn, looking somewhat forlorn. He desires blood on the carpet accursed from the day he was born. But now it was night time, the right time. Shame stood there reciting chapter and verse about the curse he was about to release, foretelling the sleepless nights he would run through my mind, denying me peace. He spoke of his dwelling in the belly of the beast, when suddenly appearing by my side was an ally from the east. They call her Pride. In other regions, she's known as self-esteem. Third card lay face up at the center of the table. Jasmine smiled at the now moody muttering Mabel, for she knew the meaning of the third card, the sun. For it represents believing in your worth, knowing you are the one. Shame seemed to wilt as he gleaned what was about to occur, or should I say, recur. You see, pride can be all-consuming. She has an appetite that's almost inhuman. Constantly she devours Shame by releasing her appetite upon his mane. Mabel's thick brown nails tapped on the bulb of the hourglass. She smiled as grains of sand trickled through, soon to reach their last. Suffering a blow to the ego was imminent, foretold the fourth card. But Jasmine had turned over the Tower, a sign of impending discord. Insanity once again began to become profane, seizing Pride in his effort to dominate the game. I shouted to Pride to block her ears, for fear she would be beguiled. But she did not hear, for she had been enchanted by Insanity's smile. She walked with him, despite my pleas, feeding off his energies, whilst he fished out charms from his uncapped well, and as I suspected, Pride began to swell. She followed him to the cliff wall, where Insanity pushed and Pride did fall. Suffice to say, pride met her demise, whilst insanity beckoned forth his spies. Arise, my children, and fulfill your mission. As if from thin air came paranoia and obsession. As the final grains of sand rushed hurriedly towards their goal, a glistening bead of sweat appeared on Jasmine's lip mole. The card that toppled over displayed the character of death, foretelling a possible parting of the ways that caused Jasmine to catch her breath. Fishing for weakness in my psyche, paranoia whispered about what might be happening to my darling, my lovely, another man caressing her snugly. The thought at once made me twitch. My anger now brewing, I began to switch. Obsession evaporated into a vapor, which I inhaled, not knowing his caper. Thoughts of another with Jasmine caused my knuckles to crack. Obsession took hold of me, head spinning. I staggered back as the ultimate grain of sand descended. Jasmine flipped the final card. Mabel collected in the tarot cards of fate. The last card was the devil card, signifying ignorance that often causes many to be taken in by false appearance. At this point, I heard voices at the edge of the cliff. Turning, I saw paranoia touching Jasmine on the bum and the hip. How she got there, I did not know, but she chuckled and smiled along with his flow. Obsession consumed me from the inside out. I started to rant and froth at the mouth. Paranoia's job done, he started to flee whilst obsession continued devouring me, mutating with flesh into jealousy. I craved for my Jasmine zealously. I needed to be with her eternally, so rushing, I pushed her as she grabbed onto me. As we fell from the cliff, my eyes filled with dread, as her face began to morph and change as she said, "The obsession inside you has led you to me. I saw the character I was locked with was actually insanity." In the moist, musty tent, Mabel collected in the tarot cards of fate and placed the hourglass on its side. Putting a leathery hand across the shoulder of Jasmine, she whispered, "Well, dear daughter, that's another one that lost his mind in the game. Mind games. Mind games."